What is up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie livestream. My name's Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. And if it's your first time here, please be sure to introduce yourself into the chat or into the comments so that you can get the nice Camera Junkie crew welcome. And as tradition goes around here, the first thing that we always do is to go ahead and check to see who are the first members of the Camera Junkie crew hanging out in chat. All right, so let's go to our chat screen right here. And right off the bat, we have Randy saying hello to everyone. How are you? Okay, everything's looking good. We also have Parker Jennings saying hello to everyone. Gretchen's hanging out here saying hi to myself. Aiden's sleeping right now. He zoned out right before, like while I was prepping for the stream. But she's also saying hi to everyone in the crew. We got Paul in the house saying greetings. How are you? Gary 1357. Hi, Lewis, saying hi. I think I met you at Creator Camp, right? So if like the avatar and the name just clicks a bell, confirm that with me, Gary. That'll be super cool. We also have Michael in here as well saying evening to all. Time to cap off the week. Likewise, and he's saying greetings. Well, greetings to you and welcome. And thank you for hanging out here with me tonight. I just got a text message, I believe. Okay, there's something that we were trying out right now. It says YouTube said this. Okay, so let me see if we can do it. Okay, so what it is that Brandon Washington actually has a live stream going on, and he's going to try to redirect, like, so almost like the raids in Twitch. So as soon as he's done with his stream, they should be redirecting here. So we might be getting an influx of new camera junkies hanging out with us tonight. But I need to give him privileges, apparently, on my end. So we're going to do this on the fly. Let me go to the next scene right here. Let me open up YouTube because I have all of that closed. And now I'm in my studio. And let me see what it says. It says in the community settings. Okay. So in the community settings. Let me see. Settings. See what's available. I'm just trying to talk my way through this right now. Oh, okay, cool. So yes, I have channels, so I just need to put his channel in there. All right, let me do that real quick. Oops. No, I wanted to stay on that page. Okay, so now I'm looking for his channel. Yes, and copy this, go back here, hit paste. So I have to take the HTTP off. Yes, and now I found the channel. And now it's saved. Okay. And now I'm just going to text him back. Should be good. All right. And we'll see where that goes. All right. Thank you for the patience. All right. But Okay, we have Meli5 as well here saying hello, hello, welcome, welcome. We have Carlos in the house saying hello to everyone. All right, and it looks like we're all caught up right now. It looks like this is good. So let me close these windows before it throws me off. All right, boom. And now we're in it. All right, cool. So if you're seeing the, the title and the subject of tonight's live stream is a 3-camera setup with my new OBSBOT cameras. So right here, I'm going to go into it to show you that this is the main angle, and then I should be able to show you secondary angle right here as well. And then the last one is actually the overhead, which I'm using right here. So that I'm going to take in to just show you what we're dealing with right now. I got 3 cameras. 2 of them are very similar. This is called the Meet 2 and the Meet SE. Now, these are OBSBOT's newest cameras. So I was trying to figure out which one I was going to get, but because the prices were so enticing that I ended up picking up 3. And this one as well, this is called the Tiny 2 Lite. Now, if we go on the OBSBOT website, we'll see some more information. We'll see the entire choice lineup of their cameras, but price or bang for your buck, I think these are the best. And I've switched up some things in my setup to demonstrate it. So now I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look. This is my 4th camera, but just to give you a behind the scenes of what's actually like how I have it set up and how small and tiny these cameras are. So the camera that you were just watching, the main camera, is this little guy right here. And that's the Meet 2. That's the first one. And then the Meet SE, I actually have it hung up right here. So if you see this small little box, is the same exact size, but it's just white in color. And then this guy right here, if we can just see a little bit right there, right? That is my side camera, and that one is the Tiny 2, or the Tiny 2 Lite, to be more specific. And that's the 3-camera setup that I have here. So I have my front-facing camera with the Meet 2. Then I have my side-facing camera with the Tiny 2, or Tiny 2 Lite. The light is specific to it. And then I have my overhead to get into more of the nitty gritty of what we're dealing with here. So another thing that you can see in this shot here are my USB-C cables just hanging up on the upper left-hand corner. Now, all 3 of these cameras are connected right here. So the 4 cables that we're seeing, if I were to just bring this up a bit, right? This one is my Stream Deck, which allows me to switch the scenes. Then this cable here is my overhead. And then these 2 are my front-facing and my side-facing shots. The reason why I set them up in this order is because of the way that I have my setup. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But let's get into like the first camera, which is the Meet 2, which is what you're seeing right here is my front-facing. It being the main camera or your front-facing camera, this could be the only thing that you might want to pick up. And this one was priced at $129, and it is a USB-C webcam that does 4K, and you're looking at the quality. And as a camera junkie, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of nitpicky when it comes to my image quality. And there's a lot of cameras that, even though they are like full-fledged cameras, they have a web feature design. And I'm not trying to throw shade on any particular brand, but there are some that, even though I were to connect it as a webcam and it is a full, interchangeable lens system, I am not pleased with the final quality of the product, right? I'm not just happy with it for my own use. So I tend to not use them that way and connect those types of cameras with a capture card to get the highest quality video out of them. This has impressed me so much because I am very happy with not only the image quality that I'm getting out of this tiny little camera, but as well as that the control that I'm given using the control app. which I will bring up right here, right? So this control center app that I am able to install onto my computer and have it here gives me a lot of options when it comes to these cameras. Now, first, you'll see 3 dots on the upper right hand corner, and those are the 3 sections, 1, 2, and 3, that are highlighted, and I am able to select which camera I want to deal with because they're all connected to the computer, so the program recognizes them, and this becomes a bit of a control center but also a switcher, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But the Tiny 2 Lite, which is my side view camera, is a PTZ. And if you've never heard of this term PTZ, it's pan, tilt, zoom. We'll touch on that in a little bit, just foreshadowing. Then we have the Meet 2 and then the Meet SE. But the one that we're using right now is the Meet 2. So that's the one that I'm going to select. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the information, as you can see here. So I'm on the console, but what I'm really talking about here is the image that I'm getting out of these little cameras. So once again, to go to kind of the view, this tiny little 1 3/4 inch by 1.5 inch camera is what I'm talking about, and it's just propped up on top of my Mac Studio here. So to go back to it, right, that's this little camera, the Meet 2, and in these settings I am able to click onto the image tab, and that's when things get fun. Now I have the ability to go in a couple of different autofocus modes, because these are I forgot to mention it, these are considered AI cameras, artificially enhanced, I would guess, IE, or artificial intelligence cameras, that have a couple of features built in. And one of them is a zoom feature and kind of like a tilt and follow. I think it's similar to what you find in the follow cams with the iPads and things like that. So this actually has the ability to do that, but the pan, tilt, zoom one actually has a gimbal built in, so it has even more functionality, especially when it comes to following you with the AI. So right off the bat, for all of the cameras, we're gonna have similar controls, and I am able to go into my nerd mode as a camera junkie and deal with all of the aspects. So right off the bat, this is the front camera that we're dealing with. I am able to increase the ISO, and you'll see in real time how my picture is getting brightened up, right? And I'm increasing the ISO as we speak. Now, there is auto exposure, which I don't recommend, because depending on how, or if I were to move out of the frame, right, then it will just start looking at the things in the background. So I like to set everything up, and being a control freak, I kind of click the auto exposure off, which gives me the ability to control this at my leisure. And I already had all the settings set up, so I had it set it up to ISO 800. I can continue and do the same with the white balance. And even at the bottom, I have played with this a little bit, the contrast, saturation, sharpness, right? Because one of the things that people dislike from these cameras is that they can't get a, a cinematic type look, right? Which I don't think that is true, but they think that there's over sharpening done with a lot of these cameras. So you're able to go in there and reduce some of that sharpness to add some softness to make it, a more pleasant viewing experience for everyone. So we'll continue. It does have HDR, which is high dynamic range, which means that it's going to give you more capturing of the light, or a bigger range to get colors correctly, which is really cool, especially if you decide to use this outdoors. It will then act more like I would say a cell phone camera, where it will expose for the outdoors in the background or the sky, and keep that within its dynamic range, as well as exposing everything in the forefront correctly as well. So this is really cool. And then on the focus, we have autofocus, but if we turn it off, that's super impressive, which I wasn't expecting that I would have the ability to have manual focus on this camera. So what this does is that now if I were to move completely out of frame, right, let me go to that front shot and shut that off. Because I've already set that to manual focus, when I step away, it's not going to jump to the background. If I were to try to bring something up front, you see it's not going to focus on my hand because I've locked in the focus, which is really cool, especially for a static shot like this. You know, instead of having the camera hunting, which I'm going to turn the autofocus back on right now, just to show you the difference. When I step away, you get the focus breathing, right? You're going to get that jumping around from the background to the, you know, person in the forefront or the subject at hand. So to eliminate that, and that's just something that I like to do, I will honestly, let's click that and that, right? So we're showing it there. Yep. I take autofocus off, and just to show you the fine detail control, that if I were to move this, I'm going to go directly out of focus. And I'm just adjusting it. You see now it's in the background. So instead of having any of that focus movement at all, you're able to lock yourself in. Let me see where it looks good. Right just before that. Right there. Right there looks good. And now that's locked and saved. I don't have to worry about these settings anymore because they're set. So I have this granular control. Oh, I set something up right now, which let me go ahead and change that off. This is an AI camera, so me being Puerto Rican is going to put some strain on me on my control of hand movements, because a lot of them actually are gestures that the camera is constantly aware for to change. So right now we have a static shot, and let me just move that out of the way again, right? Just to demonstrate. And this is where the AI functionality comes in, right? So let's say you were away and you don't have the ability to adjust or touch anything on the computer at the moment. Let's say you're presenting, then you still have some functionality, you know, just using some hand gestures. So let me demonstrate. Right now, I'm just going to step backwards, right? And show you that there's going to be no movement, both in the like autofocus and also in the shot itself. Right now that we're here, I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to start tracking. Now there wasn't really any change, but what it does is that it does auto framing. So now if I start moving backwards, it's going to start following me around using its wide angle view to keep me centered. Now there are some options that you go in there to set exactly what type of framing you want, but now it gives me the ability to move around. And I'm stepping too far away from the microphone, but it's gonna auto correct and auto set the framing. So like I said, this is all being done with just the first camera that I happened to mention, which is this Meet 2, and it's like super impressive that this tiny little camera is able to do so much. So it comes with a little like magnetic stand and its USB-C cable, right? Not much to it. Oops. Apple-like packaging, right, for their paperwork, and hands down has just been an impressive experience, especially with the quality and everything. So now this one was $129. The next one, right, which is the Meet SE, right, is actually limited to 1080, which is what I decided that I think would be great for an overhead camera, right? Because this is definitely good enough quality in 1080 high definition, and you're not going to need the full 4K to demonstrate things that you want to, you know, show. Like, so say like I wanted to show my new fidget spinner, right? This is perfect and ideal for these types of scenarios. And if I go to this shot, it is this small. Now, one of the cool features that I've forgot to mention is that these are like webcams. So they are They don't need any extra batteries. They're powered and controlled completely just by connecting them to your computer via USB-C cable, and that's it. So reliability and knowing that like I can have this here as my overhead cam, it doesn't take a lot of space like the camera that I have just above it that was in the previous, just to show you, right? Like my Nikon here. So compare something like this, if I show you, something like that where you have a lens protruding towards this tiny little box makes a huge difference. There we go. Makes a huge difference, and I'm still very happy with the quality in 1080 here. Because believe it or not, the 1080 was about all I was getting out of that camera using the USB-C as well. So having this tiny little thing replace it is phenomenal. Now, let me show you. This is the little tripod that you get with it. So this is where you would just connect it to like your laptop and then throw the little camera on top and you're good to go. So those are the first two cameras, right? The main and the overhead, which is the Meet 2 and the Meet SC. And the Meet SC, because it's not 4K, kind of drops the price dramatically. And this one was $70. It was $69.99. So if you're okay with 1080 quality, then I would recommend getting this one. I'm using it as my overhead, but this could be your front facing camera just the same way, because if 1080p is more than adequate and more than good enough for you, which in a lot of cases it is, right? If you're not a camera junkie, you may not need 4K, but there is one like downside to it, which is when it actually does the reframing and the zooming in, so to speak. That's where if you're going to be using these cameras in any way, shape, or form with the zoom function, I would recommend going with the 4K, because you're gonna lose resolution every time that you zoom in. So if you're already maxed out at 1080, then zooming into anything beyond 1080 is only going to reduce the resolution 720 or worse. So that's why I wouldn't recommend it if you were going to use it in that aspect. But if you're just going to use it as a static shot, so just going to change the mode from moving to locked on, right? If this is all you need, then I could honestly tell you that the 1080 will probably be more than good enough for your needs. So as I always say, upgrade your skills before your gear, because I think that if you reverse engineer your setup, then you can save yourself a lot of time, money, and headaches, because you're going to be just making sure that you only buy the things that you're going to maximize in. But that's where this next shot over here, the PTZ, comes into play. Oh, it's tracking me. But I'm going to do something else here. You're going to throw this back on here. And this is the really cool thing about this console. This has a control. So I'm able to zoom out, right? And control where the camera goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my hand up, and okay, now it's locked off, so it's not trying to track me. But that's where this one is totally different. This is where the PTZ really changes the game, because it does have a motoring, like a gimbal. So it will track you from side to side without losing resolution, giving you the ability to walk around. So let's say you were a professor, right? And you're going to be doing like a presentation, and you're going to be moving around from a whiteboard to other different options. This could be the ideal thing for you. I just turned on the tracking again. I'm Puerto Rican. All right, so tracking off. So that's what you would have to be aware of. But like, say this wanted to be the static shot, that this could be it. But another cool feature of the PTZ that I'm demonstrating here is that it also has presets. So I'm able to preset, and if I were to click the first one, it already has my side angle set here. So if I were doing the live stream, I would literally, this would be my second shot. Oh, we're getting some messages here. Oh, I thought I changed that. Brandon just sent me a message saying that my chat is only allowed to subscribers. So let's see if once again we could change this on the fly. I swore I had changed that too. I like this song. All right, so I'm in here. I'm in my settings. Let's see what I can do here. Because Paul had mentioned this to me like weeks ago, and I thought I had changed it, and that usually keeps those settings. Let me see. I don't think I'll be able to change it now. That's interesting. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, wait. Edit. Yeah, it was to subscribers. Okay, so let's see. Save. Okay, that officially worked. Okay, cool. Yeah, and it even sent a message. Said chat is now open to everyone. All right. Lessons learned. All right, so where was I? I was talking about the Tiny 2. So this one is actually very well priced as well. This one is coming in at $179. So $180. The crazy thing is that the original Tiny 2, which was their less expensive one, was, I think, is still priced like at $350. So cutting the price from a PTZ with 4K that has all of these AI features on it, and at the same time, for under $300, actually under $200, this was like a no-brainer. And because I saved so much when I originally went into the website to actually look for this camera from the 350, that I'm like, I'm saving so much, which was what allowed me to pick up the other cameras in the bunch, right? So this way I have a 3-camera setup, and my total checkout cost was around $350 for all of this. So I have my main camera in 4K. I have my secondary camera here in 4K. And then I have my overhead right here in 1080, all said and done for under $350, or basically saying under $400. Now, this to me is like next level game changing, because of the fact that I know how much cost goes into a lot of these things. All my entire setup to get a 4K quality image out of anything, I first needed to get my 4K capture card. And I have 2 connected here that I normally run my Sony cameras. But this is gonna not only save space, but save time, effort, and the convenience factor is through the roof. Because if you decide to go with something like the PTZ, right, this camera, you're not only limited to this one sort of static shot. You have the ability to change it up. So I'm now gonna enable the AI tracking, and now I'm able to move around, right? Let me go ahead and I'm able to move around, and as I move around, the camera's gonna follow me. And this is without like the auto framing setup. This is just the AI tracking, which for under $200, the fact that you're able to get 4K with a PTZ to me is like next level. So just super, super impressed with what you're able to do with this. But now as we go back, right, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the tracking, right? And I'm getting light indications on the cameras themselves. So, you know, once it's blue, it's tracking, right? Yep, you see? And then I just hold my hand up and it blinks to green and now it's static. But let's say it's not exactly where I want. I'm going to go here to this setup and I'm going to hit my preset 1, which is going to go ahead and bring it right back to where I had it. Right? So this is my second shot and you can have it set there. But like I said, you also have this control here on the control center from OBSBOT. So you're able to set up other presets, right? So I'm going to hit the second preset, which is going to now pan and zoom to my background where you can see my gaming setup, my 3D printer, my like creation station in the background, so to speak, right? But then it also allows me to have even another preset, right? So I can come back to the first one and then set the third preset to the backside, which now gives me a perfect promo for Ecamm and dock pops. So if you're not familiar with it, then I can come and bring it right back to the first one and go, you're looking at it. This is the dock pops pop filters that you can find at dockrock.merch. And yeah, I believe so. Dockrock. If not, Paul will help me out in the chat. Oh, we're getting the CFA raid in the house. All right, so it looks like it's actually working. Let's go ahead and address this. All right, yeah, definitely got raided. Let's see where we're at. All right. Timeless Truth said, I'm glad I was a subscriber. We got that fixed. We got Trey Watts also letting me know that it was fixed. All right, Paul let me know that it's turned off now. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the main shot over here. All right, we got Jeremy as well saying hello to everyone. How you doing, Jeremy? We have Brandon in the house saying CFA chat. He's the first one to come in. There we go. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. We have Larry D. Williams as well saying CFA raid. This is official. It worked. All right. Ageless Picks. Yep, Ageless Picks. I was about to mess that name up real bad because I have a Dominican friend that's got a name similar to that, and my mind was trying to jump there. We also have Joe from the CFA raid coming in as well. RJ Hurst. This is Brandon himself, CFA raid. Let's go. Let's go. Where's my sound effects? Oh, no. There we go. Tim Hunter as well. Welcome, welcome. See, getting the nice welcome from the crew. Contrast Cinema in the house. CFA Raid 34 Media. We got GG2315 CFA Raid. Shay Wilson CFA Raid. We also got Brandon in the house. Says my setup is dope. Thank you very much, Brandon. Said, damn, not even phased, man. Still on point. Oh, that's the whole thing. For those of you who are coming in here on the raid and maybe not have heard, this is something that I actually do. This is episode 221, and that's 221 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream. I do it every single Saturday night, and I absolutely love doing it. It says the CFA raid wasn't automatic. I had to click and go over, okay, through the autoplay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But we're learning because it's something that neither of us had ever done. I usually close my live streams out to no one. But hey, you never know. Might be one of you guys taking over on the West Coast and then keeping the ball running or passing on the baton, so to speak. And we'll all then raid over to your stream as well. Paul also letting everyone know, if you put a Q colon, it'll help me find your questions if you have any. 34 Media says had to click as well. Hey, Cam Mackey's in the house. Shillin' Chief. It says turn them super chats on. Oh man, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's see if I can, or if that's something that I kind of still need to do on the back end. What's this? It said edit, right? Customization. That is something that I don't know if customization over here. Let's see. Live chats. Hey Cam, I appreciate it, but I think it should have been on. Is it? Let me see here. I'm gonna pop this out over here, pop out chat to get more info on that in particular. I've received super chats before. So, you know, talking about that, I believe that's already set up, but that's, I might have to check in. Paul, let me know if that is on or not, but it's super interesting because I don't know what happened to my settings today. Like the subscribers was off, and also actually just turn that off. The subscribers was off, and also the this now. Stream health. Just let me see if it's under the shopping tab. Nope, it's asking me to tag a product. Steam health or stream health, sorry. Boop, boop. Reset copy. Nope. I don't see it right now. It's not giving it to me through any of the features on the live stream. So I appreciate it, Cam. I really do. But I'll make sure that I have it ready for next week. Promise. And that's the whole thing. I've received super chats, so I don't know why it wouldn't be on there. Boom. But respect the Shillin' Chief and got to get that going. Says CFA stand up. Oh, we're getting a lot of messages here as well. Says, haha, that's it. My man Jerome messed up the name. Salute. CJ. Yes. Oh, we got some more. We got Harold Sharp as well. We got James Manley as well, part of the raid. We got Larry D. Williams. And Joe as well says, transferred automatically for me on the YouTube app. Okay, so it worked for some, didn't work for others. But as we say, we live and we learn. Thank you for that. But yes, Paul just sent, it says, it's in the earn options. Okay, so let me go into my YouTube studio and not so much the live stream itself. This is how we do. We live and we learn. I appreciate Paul. Paul is an amazing moderator, by the way. If you're planning to do live streams, get yourself a Paul because he helps out on so many ways through the background, giving constant information and making sure that everyone, you know, is well behaved in the chat. Right. Brandon's messaging me saying that it looks like everything. All right, cool, man. Appreciate you, Brandon. All right, and none of these were from Paul. So let's go back to the chat aspect here. I'm clicking into the earn options. Supers and gifts. Yo, are you serious? This must have been an update because everything was turned off. So it says gifts are now enabled. Oh, we live and we learn, and hopefully that worked. Hopefully I won't have to do. All right, thanks, Paul. I just saw that message, but I think I got it. And it said it's saved. But if it doesn't go through for this week, then we'll make sure that like it should be working for next. Boom. All right. So now to finish up talking about this thing, because this is the cool thing that I was saying, like we have presets on this camera. So what I was thinking with, oh, wrong one. That's way too zoomed. But we can click the preset and it's going to have everything like saved. So this is my shot. And then if I wanted to like advertise, I have the ability to, what am I doing? Oh, that's me. It's my bad. Able to click the presets and then have them go to like specific parts and have different functionalities. So what I was thinking about, right, was that let's say this was your first or like your main and only camera. A thing that popped into my head right away is like, how would I be able to maximize this camera? And one of the things that we're always able to do is flip the cameras upside down, right? And these cameras, if you do flip them upside down, automatically they will auto rotate the image. But with the PTZ, you can buy one camera that can do both your overhead and your front facing static shot if worked correctly. So I'm gonna go back to this shot. It says, okay, it looks like I ran out of hard drive space. Right here, I have my overhead shot, right? I have like this cage here, so I have something that could physically hold it up. But if not, then I could recommend doing something like I have here, which is, this is my wall. And I put a cheese plate directly onto the wall and I screwed it on there with anchors to be able to hold the weight. So now the wall has ended up becoming my tripod. And then I put this camera that we see here with the teleprompter and the whole thing set up, and it's all here hanging off of that cheese plate. So there's nothing underneath. So if you can have a similar type setup like this, then you'd be able to utilize this little camera right here, this PTZ. You can see this cute little thing. And what I would do is that I would hang it from this or something like that, and I would place it upside down. Why would I place it upside down? Because you have those preset settings. And what I would do is actually get to the point of being able to just use it upside down as my front facing camera. But then at the same time, when I want to go into my overhead, instead of switching to another camera because you might not have it, you have the ability to just preset the camera to switch and actually do that pan, tilt, zoom, and have it moved over to now be looking directly above like your hands and being your overhead shot. So that's kind of like where my head went when I first was thinking about getting these cameras. But now I'm just going to go into this shot over here, which would be good if we pulled up the web page. Bam. So this is the OBSBOT website. And when we go under the products, that's what I wanted to show you. There's quite a few. So you have the Tiny 2, then you have the first gen, you have the Meet 2, the first gen, and then the SC and the new Meet SC. So the Tiny SC was the one that I ended up picking up. Tiny 2 Lite, sorry. Oh yeah, and the Tiny 2 SE is even less expensive, but it's also limited to the 1080. So these are the differences, and you're gonna have to like go in there. Why did the page just go white? The internet's a little slow right now. I'm asking a lot out of my internet. Tiny 2 Lite. Subscribe. Oh, I just closed that window. Products. Tiny 2 Lite. Let's open that on a new window. And hopefully we get it to load. And we wait. There we go. So this is what I wanted to show you. As you can see, it's super convenient. Oh, we got some super chats. And we have a question. What's up? All right. So obviously it's working. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right. Paul sent me first $1 super chat. Appreciate you. I guess he was testing it out. Thank you. Thank you. Also, we got Michael testing. It says it works. Thank you very much. Are these coming up? Well, there we go. There we go. Appreciate you. Make sure that those are coming up as well. There we go. And we got Cam Mackey as well. Says, your setup is epic. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. I have a lot of fun. So normally I don't have these cameras set up. I have my Sony cameras, everything set up as well. But I'm really thinking that I'm going to be switching to a couple of these. Definitely this is going to stay as my overhead. It's just too convenient not to have it. But this is 4K PTZ webcam. And I'm really, really impressed with this, guys. Because I think for the price, you just can't beat it. So let's see exactly what's the cost on this one. If I were to click the buy now. To add to the cart. Oh, the internet. You can see it's running slow right now. We're waiting for things to load. So yeah, let's see. What's the price here? $159? Did I just like that? I think I missed the discount. So yeah, $179. Dude, $159, $160. It is so good. And you see, these are the differences. Like, the differences are the sensor sizes inside, but also the resolutions that you're getting, because these are like some serious megapixels. I believe this camera runs at a 50 megapixel rate. You see. Now, this is just the tech specs on this one, on the $160, guys. All right, so we're getting the grams, but yes, look, half-inch CMOS sensors, 48 megapixel, image, 4K, and it's got all the frame rates. So we're looking at it's doing 1080, 60, 50, 30, 25, 20, and 15. I don't know who's using 20 and 15, but they're there if you need something that slow. But in 4K, you're getting it at 30, 25, 24, and those non-usable frame rates. So you're getting 4K 30 out of this camera, and that's basically kind of like the same sensor that the Meet 2 also has. So if we just go to the Meet 2, no, let's go to the tech specs. On the Meet 2, see, same half-inch sensor, CMOS. You're getting the same image quality. And like I said, it's basically the same camera. So the Meet 2 and the Tiny 2 Lite basically have the same picture resolution, 4K, 48 megapixels, except this one a little bit more expensive because it has the pan tilt zoom on it. So with the pan tilt zoom, now you have all of those extra features. And I'm going to have it like, it's even looking at me. Reset 1, bam. All right. But I can't emphasize so much on this. So now the biggest difference in this one, if we go into the tech specs, which is the SC, this one has got the lowest resolution. You see a smaller sensor, and it says effective pixels 2 megapixels, which might be all that you need for the 1080. Now it supports 1080 100 frames, which is pretty impressive. So that means you can do 1080 60, because it does do 1080 100, 60, 59.94, and all of the other ones all the way down to 24 frames, and even the 20 and 15 that I don't know. Guys, let me know if you know any use case for 15 frames per second or 20 frames per second. That doesn't make any sense to me, but it does have the 4x zoom. Once again, I don't recommend it. If you're going to be using any of these cameras for a zooming in type feature, then I would definitely recommend. Look, it's already, you can see the things changing with the AI. It's so funny. But if you're going to be using it to zoom whatsoever, then I suggest going with the 4K, especially for the price point. Because if we were to go buy now, didn't I click it? Yep, we're just waiting. $69. Yo, 1080p with like all of these features, you know. So let's say you're a Twitch streamer and you only wanted to do 1080 60 because that's what they use over there. You can get a great webcam that is pretty decent in low light, because my setup is not the brightest. And you're talking about that this is $70. Yo, you could spend more on dinner with a date, you know, just than $70. And that's crazy. So now going back to the Tiny 2 Lite, which is the PTZ one, if we were to click buy now, what was the price? 159. It's just 179 was what I paid for it just the other day. But you can get it on a discount as well, which is phenomenal. And then the Meet 2, how much was that one? This is the 48 megapixels. This is what you're looking at right now. And this is 129. So now if you think about it, 129 for this camera. Now, if you wanted to add a gimbal with PTZ, you know, like pan tilt zoom features to it, you're adding what, an extra $40? No, and not even 30. Because right now it's at 159. Like the Tiny 2 Lights right now is the MVP. Because let's just look at the other ones that we have. I'm going to go back to the original. So if we go to the products, right, and we go to their original, like the Tail Air or the Tail Air 2, we'll open that. And we just go to the Tiny 2, not the Tiny 2 Lite or the SE, because the SE, it is less expensive, but it's basically the same resolution as the SE Meet, right? If you think about them that way, the Meet 2 and the Tiny 2 Lite basically fall into the same category because they are the same sensor, so you'll get the same resolution. The Tiny SE and the Meet SE also fall into that same category where they're just the same exact sensor. They're 1080 resolution maximum, but one has the PTZ and the other one doesn't. One's $70, and let's see how much this one is as well. Hey, we'll find out. We'll click here. This is the Tiny SE. This is the pan tilt zoom that is only 1080p, but it's at $100. So that's the difference. You basically, they're charging you an extra $30 right now if you want to make your camera PTZ. So entry level will be the Meet 2 SE at 1080, and then if you want to PTZ it, it's this one. It's the Tiny SE, AI powered. Then the next step up, which would be the Meet 2, right? And the Meet 2 is the 4K version of this tiny little camera. And then if you want to add the PTZ aspect of that, then that would be the Tiny 2 SE. Where's that tab? No, that's the full Tiny 2. Tiny 2 Lite, right? So that's exactly where we're at there. So now going to their original Tiny 2, and if we were to just hit buy it now, so this is the first version of it. Oh, we're all zoomed in over here. Come on. Let's go over there. Okay, leave that there. I'm Puerto Rican, so I speak with my hands, guys. All right, so this you see is $300 right now, but it was $329. So I said $350. That's the kind of idea that I was thinking about paying. But the original Tiny 2 is a $300 camera, even still to today. So for $160, nearly like half the price, this Tiny 2 Lite is killer. So I do think that this has the biggest sensor of the bunch. So it's going to get a little bit of an upgrade when it comes to the image quality. But at the end of the day, this is definitely what I call GE. This is definitely good enough quality when it comes to these cameras. So that's the price on that one. And then the Tail Air 2, which is their big boy. Oh, this one's only from pre-order. But let's see exactly where we're. So yeah, now we're seeing this is $1,000 PTZ camera. So big difference and a big jump when it comes to price. So that's it when it comes to these. Like I'm telling you, what you're able to do with these cameras, I'm super impressed. Highly recommend. So this is a 3-camera setup for under $350 with the OBSBOT cameras. I have the Meet 2, the Meet 2 SE, and then the Tiny 2S or Tiny 2 Lite over here, and the PTZ and everything. I'm just super impressed. But now we're gonna go back to it because 'tis time for Cities Gaw, channels that I think you should go and watch. So let's go ahead and get into that. Man, this song is super slow. Let's spice it up a bit. Bam, there we go. We click here, then we click there, and then we do that. And there we go. All right, perfect. Bam. Uh-oh. That wasn't what I was supposed to do. I hit the wrong button. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Cities Gaw. Well, Cities Gaw, channels that I think you should go and watch. Well, this week's Cities Gaw is CVP. Now, this is a channel that I'm fairly new to. I haven't really found an exact creator because I think it's like a group of people, but I'm going to bring it up because I found a lot of great content on this channel. It's basically a camera junkie channel, as you can see. This is the individual that I've seen, but I don't know his name right off the bat. But I'm been able, as you can see, there's quite a lot of content here, and there's been a lot of good information. They've been keeping up with a lot of the latest trends, and it's a channel that I've been finding myself seeing a lot more of their thumbnails pop up on my feed, and I've been subscribed, but I've been watching more of their content as of late. So this week's Cities Gaw, channels that I think you should go and watch, is CVP. Now, I said I'm new to this, and I've been mentioning it this even more and more. YouTube's been changing, and there's been a lot more channels that have been being able to be discovered. So I'm really enjoying that aspect, and I've been finding out a lot of creators that have a lot less subscriber counts. Now, this one's pretty good at 117,000, but they're new to me, so that's why I wanted to share with you this week's Cities Gaw. If you haven't heard of them, this week's Cities Gaw, none other than channel CVP, and at cvp.tv is how you can find them. This week's Cities Gaw, channels that I think you should go and watch. And we did it, guys. Now, this was episode, like I mentioned before, episode 121. And if you're wondering what that is 121 consecutive weeks of the Camera Junkie live stream without skipping a beat. I've been doing this for over 4 years, and in December will be 5, and I can't wait to reach that milestone. A lot of you that are here just, crashing in from the CFA fam, I really appreciate it. Kenneth Scott saying, joining my first Mr. Camera Junkie live, and I appreciate you. Something that I say here every single week is that this wouldn't happen without you. this doesn't happen without the amazing people that are here week in and week out. Oh, Randy also sent me a super chat as well. Thank you, Randy. $50, man. You're next level, and thank you as always. Randy is one of my OJs, so to speak, my original junkies from me starting this 5 years ago. So absolutely appreciate you, Randy, and everyone. As I was mentioning, like, this happens every week because of the community that we fostered here in the Camera Junkie YouTube channel, and it's my go-to place week in and week out. So no matter what happens, and no matter what chaotic hecticness life could throw your way, I always know that I'm going to hang out with my Camera Junkies every Saturday night, and I invite you to do the same. So if it's your first time here, mark it down on your calendars, guys. Make a note. Saturday night, every single Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going live here on the Mr. Camera Junkie YouTube channel. So I can't wait to see all of you guys that are here for the first time. Maybe I'll see you guys here again, and I can't wait for it. So everyone, take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next time. Talk to you.